Hey Bread Gang, I hope everyone's doing good and keeping safe. In today's video, I want to chat to you guys about Healthier Choices Management Corp. So ticker symbols HCMC. And in particular, I'm going to have a look at the price action. So looking where the price currently is, where I believe it's going to go to. And recently, the IQOS system was actually banned in the United States, banned for sale in the United States. So I'm going to share my thoughts on how I believe this could affect the share price of HCMC going forward, possibly affect the company going forward. But before I get into today's video, make sure you guys subscribe and of course hit that notification bell so you don't miss any further uploads of HCMC, especially if you're invested in it. With that being said, let's get this bread. So if we have a look at the chart of HCMC, the price action has actually been pretty interesting, but I'll go way back to the 3rd of March where the price actually fell after that huge rally. The price fell down, created a temporary support, which was then tested again in April, and this was held as a support. Not only was it tested, but the bulls actually created like a demand base. So this created a lot of momentum within the bulls and actually drove the price up from here, from the 9th of April, drove the price up from 0.001 all the way up to pretty much 0.003, and the bears brought the price back down. So part of that move was to drive the price above that 50 period moving average. As you can see on the 19th of April, the bulls drove the price all the way up to test the 50 MA, and the bears brought it back down. So that 50 MA at that point was serving as pretty much a good resistance, but the bulls managed to break the price above it and get the price all the way up to 0.003. But after that, the bears just brought the price way down, tested the 50 MA. The bulls tried to hold it as a support, but the bears managed to break below this. And ever since then, the bulls have just been pretty much trying to break back above the 50 MA. I mean, it's been tested 1, 2, 3, and more recently, it's pretty much at the 50 MA. So roughly around 4 times. So it's clear that the bulls actually want to break that 50 MA, and if they do break it, then there could be a lot of momentum pushing the price even further up. A lot of people looking at that, the 50 MA as a key, pretty much dynamic support or resistance. Right now it's serving as a resistance. So if the price gets above it, then there's going to be pretty much a free-for-all. A lot of people buying, I believe anyway, a lot of people will be buying into it, and this will create a lot of demand and pushing the price even further up. So after the price broke below the 50 MA, the bears actually brought the price down to test the horizontal support at 0.001, and they managed to break this, pretty much break it initially on the 9th of July, confirmation of that break on the 16th of July. And after that, the bulls tried to break back above that. So the fact that the bears broke below this support is now acting as a resistance. And you can see it where the bulls tried to pretty much gapped above it, but the bears brought it back down. So not only is the price below the 50 MA, which is acting as a very good dynamic resistance at the moment, but the price is actually also below the resistance, the horizontal resistance at 0.001. It'll be interesting to see what happens if the price actually breaks above the 50 MA. So right now the price is range bound between 0.001, which is a resistance, and 0.0005, which is a support. The 50 MA is actually between that range as well. So if the price gets above the 50 MA, then it's likely going to head up and test the resistance of that range. And if the resistance of the range is broken, then pretty much this is going to create a lot of momentum. So by the end of today's session, the price could either break the 50 MA, close around the 50 MA, or close below the 50 MA. So if it closes below the 50 MA, then the price is likely to head to test that support at 0.005. And if the price breaks that support, might not be today's session, might be towards the end of the week. If it breaks that support, then it's likely that the price is going to head down to this support at 0.0002, which was previously resistance. So we'll wait to see what the price does. So right now, the MACD is actually, there's a golden cross that's been formed. Technically, it was formed pretty much on the 23rd of September. The bears tried to bring it down towards the dead cross, basically eat up all the bullish momentum and start driving the price even lower. But this golden cross was re-established on the 29th of September. And from the histogram, the bullish momentum has actually been picking up, which is why you've seen pretty much a price jump from 0.0005 all the way up to 0.0006, which doesn't seem like a big jump, but in terms of HCMC's price action, that's actually a big jump. I mean, it's gone up to test the 50 MA, and right now the bears are trying to bring the price all the way down. So there's a lot of fighting between the bulls and the bears right now. So it'll be very interesting to see if the price actually breaks that 50 MA. So if we move on from the daily chart and have a look at the weekly chart, and the bears have actually brought the price down to break a support. The support was actually 0.001, which was also a support on the daily chart. It was a major support on the daily chart. But the bears have brought the price down to test it. It looked like there was actually some bullish rejection on the 28th of June. but the bears managed to pretty much gap below that and keep the price below that support, which is now, technically speaking, is now a resistance. It's a resistance on the daily chart. It's also a resistance on the weekly chart, which makes it pretty much a key resistance level. And not only did the bears break that resistance, they also broke the 50 MA, but the bulls tried to bring the price back above that 50 MA and actually test that resistance. But there was a lot of bearish rejection, closing the price for that weekly, for the week of the 9th of August, both below the resistance, the horizontal resistance, and also the 50 MA. So the force is strong with the bears right now, like bringing the price all the way down. There's a lot of selling pressure right now. So the bears have actually brought the price down to test the support of 0.005. They didn't just test this, but this has been like 3-4, this is the 5th week where the support has been tested, and right now it's actually creating a demand base. So there's a lot of bullish momentum possibly getting built up around this base. So last week's candle closed at a dragonfly doji, which means that there's a lot more bullish pressure than there was bearish pressure towards the close. So we'll see what this week's candle closes with. If this week's candle basically closes bullish or closes pretty much at bullish engulfing, and this will be really good news, and we could possibly see the price head up to test that resistance at 0.001, and also the resistance also coincides with the 50 MA. So if that does happen and the price gets towards that resistance to test it, then I believe there's going to be a lot of momentum to possibly break that resistance and keep the price even going up. If it does break that resistance and stays above it, then the resistance will be re-established as a support and could possibly send the price even further up. There's an article that came out, CSP Daily News. So they came out with panel rules IQOS infringes on 2 RJ Reynolds patents. So this article was published on the 30th of September by Steve Hawkes. Ultra Group Distributing Company and Philip Morris International PMI may have to remove the IQOS heated tobacco devices from US store shelves if a ruling by the US International Trade Commission ITC is upheld. Washington DC based commission ruled September 29th that IQOS infringes on 2 patents held by rival RJ Reynolds, a subsidiary of British American Tobacco. RJ Reynolds are claiming that Philip Morris are infringing on the patent. So basically the whole IQOS system, they're fighting against that as well. They're claiming that they stole their patent. So this is a whole mess right now. You've got the IQOS system, right? Now you've got RJ Reynolds claiming that Philip Morris are infringing on the patent for the IQOS system. And then you've also got HCMC that's claiming that Philip Morris are infringing on their patent. So in a nutshell, both companies are fighting against Philip Morris, claiming that they're infringing on their patent, but RJ Reynolds claimed that the IQOS system does not combust, that is heated. So because RJ Reynolds are claiming that Philip Morris are infringing on their patent, the ITC, International Trade Commission, are basically saying, you know what, remove all IQOS systems from American stores. Basically, you can't sell them, etc. So banning the IQOS system until further notice. This whole mess is dealt with RJ Reynolds and Philip Morris until they decide, you know what, whose patent is it actually. But because RJ Reynolds are actually claiming that, you know what, the IQOS system does not combust. So if RJ Reynolds wins the lawsuit against Philip Morris can go back to the whole lawsuit with HCMC and say, look, well, there's evidence that this doesn't combust. So HCMC actually has no leg to stand on, because the whole lawsuit with HCMC and Philip Morris is pretty much HCMC trying to prove that the IQOS system does combust. So if RJ Reynolds does prove this in their own lawsuit, this will probably not be good, or most likely not be good for HCMC. A lot of investors are pretty much riding on this court case. A lot of investors got on board because of this court case with HCMC and Philip Morris, thinking, you know what, HCMC, they've got a good standing, they've got a good case, they're going to win. Even if RJ Reynolds wins against Philip Morris, or even if HCMC loses the case, the silver lining, I believe, is that HCMC has been put on the map. You know, a lot of people who weren't aware of who HCMC were before, you know, they're aware of them now. They understand the company. I would hope they would have done the DD research to understand the company, what this company stands for, who's on the board of directors, what their philosophy going forward, the plan going forward as a company, as long as they basically meet expectations of investors and also their customers, they meet their customers' expectations, they do well as a company, then going forward, regardless of the court case, I believe HCMC can really do a lot of good. So just remember that these are my thoughts and opinions, both on the price action and also on the legal side. Make sure you guys do your background DD. So if you enjoyed this video, make sure you guys subscribe and of course hit that notification bell so you don't miss any further uploads on HCMC, especially if you're following it. Guys, comment below, let me know your thoughts on the HCMC. Do you like the company? Do you like the stock? Are you invested? Let me know in the comments below. Give this video a thumbs up. Let me know this is the kind of content you like to see, and I'll be coming at you with regular regular updates on HCMC. Thanks guys, I'll see you in the next video.